A Leshy has a close bond with a gray wolf and is often seen in the company of bears as well. He is the forest lord and carries a club to express that he is the master of the wood.
I feel like the club is kind of a hat on a hat, because if you have a bear on one side and a wolf on the other, I don't really give a shit that you have a stick.
I'm going to club you while they eat your
Yeah,
face.
exactly. I'm more worried about the bear. I'm just
I'm
saying.
pretty worried about the bear.
Prepare yourself for Earthling Entertainment, the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture, with your host, Joe Wakefield and Ryan Lang.
I love it. I'm a fan of this. I'm here for it.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Earthling Entertainment with your hosts, Joe and Ryan.
That's right. I'm your host who'd like to remind you that just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're not being watched. Joe Wakefield.
And I should have listened to Don't Look Directly into the Sun, Earthworm. Hi, I'm Ryan.
I don't even know what that is.
It's from South Park.
Oh, that is fantastic.
He was a
Right, no,
mascot.
that was right. That was the Island of Misfit Mascots.
That's right, it was.
And it was
sure
all
was.
the yeah, don't look into the sun, earthworm.
Should have listened.
So, anyways, guys, hi, welcome back to Earthling Entertainment. We appreciate you guys so much. But if you're new to this show, I wanted to say hello. You might be wondering what it is we do here. Well, you know what? We're going to tell you. We're kind of a layer cake, a mix between paranormal and pop culture. So, at first, we have a thing called spooky stuff, which is all legends, myths, cryptids, ghosts, all that crazy spooky stuff.
Mhm.
After that, we have Earth Pop, which is pop culture. Sometimes we have celebrity guests. Today, we have Lauren Marie Taylor. That's right, Vickie from Friday the 13th, Part 2, which is honestly my favorite Friday the 13th. So, couldn't be more excited about
So
that.
cool.
Yeah, we got a really good interview with her. After that, we have a thing called Disclosure Discussion, which is all about aliens. And then we wrap the show up with a little thing called Real World Weird, when something's strange, odd, or just peculiar, but not paranormal and not quite pop culture, but it's real and it's in the world. Real World Weird. And I don't want to, we only have one, but it's pretty funny. It's
That's-
pretty funny tonight. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that is Earthling Entertainment, that layer cake, that onion, that anything else with these kind of segments. What do they say?
The metaphor?
Ooh, I love
Yeah,
it.
the metaphor.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthling Entertainment.
That's
Thanks,
us.
guys. So subscribe to the YouTube and enjoy the show. Ryan.
What's
how
up,
are you-
buddy?
How are you doing, man?
I am doing well. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I didn't expect the Avengers trailer to drop. I've
Yeah.
been waiting for it, and I knew it was coming, but it still caught me off guard. I guess because we got so close to Comic-Con, I just assumed they were going to wait till Comic-Con before they actually released it.
I mean, that makes sense. That tracks. But no, what a cool surprise.
Definitely, definitely. How did you feel about it?
I had to learn a lot to understand it. Like, because there's just walk with me.
We're like a genre nerd podcast. That'd be funny though. If we did the whole
Right.
show naked, we'd actually probably have more subscribers.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but no, it's just like I remember, like I think I left off at Loki season 2, which was fantastic. But when did that come out?
I don't know.
That was
It-
years
probably a year or two, maybe three. I don't know.
It's been a while, and I barely remember like the terms and stuff like that.
Did
so,
you
like,
did you see Fantastic Four?
No,
Did you see the Thunderbolts?
no.
So you missed a lot of setup for
I've
this movie.
missed a lot.
Yeah. Did you watch Captain America: Brave New World?
No.
So to be fair, Ryan, you haven't seen like the past 5 movies that led up to this movie.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean,
I never got to see Red Hulk. That's right. I forgot that Harrison Ford was totally Red Hulk. Right?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
So,
It's a
yeah.
shame that movie didn't do better because he might have actually come back. Now, I don't know how excited he would be to do it.
Yeah, I missed out on, and like I watched like the She-Hulk series, and that was okay. I watched.
I like She-Hulk. Everyone hates on She-Hulk, and
I-
Tatiana Maslany is that
Or-
her name? But
I
I
forget.
thought she did a great job.
She did a
yeah.
great job. It's just I don't know. The first half of it had me. The last half, I was like, where's where are we going with this? It did kind of go a little off the rails near the end, I felt, but
I don't think it was trying to tie into anything. I think it was just kind of like it is what it is. Like She-Hulk exists.
right.
I
But
don't
to
know.
get back to the Doomsday trailer, I had to relearn the word incursion, and I was like, okay, so what is? So we start off with Professor X looking out, and a planet is crashing into his planet. So multiple
I mean, that's kind of
realities.
what it seemed like. Yeah, it was definitely a cataclysm of some sort, fire in the sky.
So multiple realities are dying, or whatever you call them, timelines, whatever. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is what's
Which,
happening.
and I don't know if they're saying that X-Men timeline is all the Fox movies or if it's just a timeline where, they look the same and it's similar but different. I don't know. But in my head, I love the fact that they were like, no, no, no. All the old X-Men are canon in their universe. It doesn't affect what we're doing.
No, and I agree with that. And there was a lot of returning faces that we haven't seen in a long time. That
I was surprised Channing Tatum was there.
Yep.
Because he was obviously only an X-Men and Wolverine. X-Men, excuse me. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and because he was supposed to have a Gambit movie that never came out way back when.
Right.
So they brought him in, which is kind of what I was saying. So is that X-Men universe we're watching just a different X-Men universe that's kind of an amalgamation of the Fox universe? I don't know. I keep interrupting you though.
No, not at all.
Sorry.
No, don't be. No, this is a discussion. And but no, I also was kind of like wondering, because a lot of those, to go with what you're saying, is where we're at. Where are we at? I wonder, because now we see a bunch of characters that have died, right?
Well, who do you mean?
Shoot, I forget. Like I said, forgive me, guys. I forget a lot of names, but there were a lot of characters that, as far as people in the Fox, like you were saying, X-Men knew were dead. So, but we saw them now. So
Okay,
I heard a lot
so
of
what
that.
you're saying, all right, so the guy playing Cyclops, James Marsden,
Yeah.
died in X-Men The Last Stand, which was directed by Brett Ratner way back in the day.
Right.
But if you remember right, if you consider all the X-Men films canon, then when they got to X-Men Days of Future Past, that ended where Wolverine, with the help of others, obviously, helped change the history, and he was there
You
at
are
the end of that.
you already know what I'm about to say. I
Go ahead.
never saw Days of Future Past. Is that with the purple guy?
No, that was Apocalypse. Ryan,
Apocalypse. I didn't see that one either.
Ryan, maybe we shouldn't ask you about your insight here.
I know the original. What
is that?
That the old 90s
All right, you know what? No,
X-Men. That's where I left off.
I gotta cut you off. You are no longer allowed to comment on X-Men, or excuse me, Avengers Doomsday until you do more research. No. Done. Bad. All right, so let me go if you don't mind. The fact that we had Fantastic Four in it is great, and the same with the Thunderbolts. It did feel a bit rushed at the fact that each one of those groups only had one movie right up before this, but I'm down for it. It definitely seemed like we are going to get. I liked Chris Hemsworth having the narration as Thor, where he pretty much explains that this threat scares him more than any other threat, and the people he has around him, the group of Avengers, if you will, are not as strong as any of the ones that used to exist. And then, of course, they have the reveal where Chris Evans is there, which is, I don't know. You take away the energy of him leaving if you just bring him back all the time, but whatever.
Well, yeah. And so then, of course, let's get to the meat on the bone here. And then, of course, we get Dr. Doom.
What about him? They didn't really talk much. He was just like, okay, we see Dr. Doom. They didn't give away that it was Robert Downey Jr., even though everybody knows.
I've been watching a lot of fan talk about this preview and what a lot of people are speculating.
Sure.
And one thing I was hearing was because we've got Loki, we see Loki in the trailer too, and we know that Loki is basically, serving his purpose, right? His grand purpose we finally saw was he's the one holding everything together. Literally
Sure.
all timelines and all time, he's watching it, he's God. And so my assumption, not mine, what I've heard and what I'm going to go with is that so Dr. Doom is trying to save his timeline, but so the whole plot is probably going to be him trying to get to Loki to probably kill him, maybe take over the shit. I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm not thinking that much far into it. I mean, I realize the bottom line is we're going to bring the Avengers together for one grand threat. I know the grand threat is Doctor Doom, and then I know the next movie that's coming out is Secret Wars. So no matter what happens, I'll tell you what happens according to the comics. All universes get smashed together into one universe, and then in the next, it's called Battle World, probably not.
Battle Royale,
You
right?
know, it's called Battle World in the
Yeah,
comics
yeah.
and not in the movie, I assume. And so Secret Wars is going to be like a big brawl between everybody to
Cool.
basically everyone settle their place in this new world. But the point is, all worlds are going to get destroyed and collide into one, probably. I don't know.
I even heard some people speculating that the Captain America that we see that was able to take Mjolnir with the longer hair is actually going to be another alternate captain in the way that Iron Man is Doctor Doom. Steve Rogers is going to become one of the members of Hydra. Like he'll become like a head of Hydra. I guess was an alternate universe that I saw people speculating.
Yeah, exactly.
Just speculating.
You
speculating.
can't just sit here and name speculation when you don't have enough information. You're just repeating some wild theory.
It's an interesting theory.
Jerk online is. Yeah, but you don't even know the names. It's fine. We're moving on.
I thought I did pretty well.
But guys, tell us what you think about the Doomsday trailer. Tickets are out now, so if you're interested, definitely buy it. I hope they do well because I'm really interested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe giving a few people their due, namely Shang-Chi. He's in this trailer, and we haven't seen anything since the first movie, and he was supposed to get a sequel that apparently will never happen, so that's what I'm looking forward to. I guess that's pretty much it, though. Did you have? I don't want to completely cut you off, but I wanted to get into I wanted to get into the Odyssey is the problem.
No,
and the
I
Odyssey
understand.
is going to be such a odyssey that I thought we should not.
No, I was going to say this is definitely a lot to unpack.
The Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
Ryan and I both had the opportunity to go see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and I don't know, man. I mean, did you guys like The Odyssey? I thought it was good, but I wasn't. There were some things, some chapters or stories that they left out that I wasn't too happy they left out. So
Okay.
ultimately, there's about 11 different islands and stories that Odysseus went to that weren't in the film. I do think they picked some good ones. I really enjoyed the sirens, although I wanted
Yeah.
more from the sirens.
No, I honestly thought the siren scene was absolutely perfect.
Really?
Absolutely. Like I felt like if they drug it on, it would have kind of ruined the impact.
I just
Because
wanted
it
more
hit
from the sirens.
hard. God, and Matt Damon really showed some chops. Like
So what Ryan's referring to is, if you guys don't know, Odysseus asks to be tied to the mast of the boat because he wants to hear the sirens. But anyone who hears the siren song will jump into the water and basically go there and get eaten, and it's a bad thing. So he has his men tie him to the mast, and then while he's
they all plug their ears with
wax.
wax. Yeah.
Yeah. So his description in the film of what the siren song is what Ryan's referring to.
Yeah, and I don't want to ruin it because
No,
it's
go
so
for it, dude.
beautiful.
It's the freaking Odyssey, dude. It's been out for 2,000 years. No one's like, you're not spoiling the Odyssey. If it,
It's true, but like the way it was put, I
okay,
feel
so
like
do you want to do this or not, man? Because let me tell you, you're not spoiling it.
it just came out.
All right. Guys, it's described as like every wish that you wanted fulfilled and every mistake you've made fixed. You know what I mean? It was the drawing of every desire you ever wanted and every failure you ever had redeemed.
That which you want most, you already had but lost.
Yeah.
And told him that he does not want to go home. Like
Yeah.
he was like literally like it was devastating for him.
Well, he did not want to go home was the ultimate, like his character coming to realize is his deception in Troy of making the Trojan horse, of tricking the people of Troy into believing that it was an offering from the gods or from them to the gods. Basically, that trickery was something they didn't do. Like that was just
It broke Zeus's law.
Exactly.
You
and after
treat
that, they believe, or he believed, that society itself was breaking down, and every bad thing that people were doing and ignoring the law was because he broke it first. Like he was the straw that broke.
He weaponized their trust.
Yeah. And so that was a good arc for the story.
And I know, like, I'm sure everybody's heard it by now, but I just think it bears repeating. It's the first film ever to be filmed on IMAX camera. Yeah, it was the first, like, in its entirety, because IMAX is used often, in like big scenes where directors really want the scene to pop. But what makes it a big deal is they film on it's real film. It's not digital. And he had to work with IMAX specifically to create a camera that he could bring on set because there was no green screen, all extras. There was like 2,000 extras for the Siege of Troy, and it's incredible. And but these things weigh 300 pounds and they're enormous, and they can only film for 3 minutes at a time. Every 3 minutes, you have to stop, cut, change the reel, and go. So this entire almost 3-hour film was every 3 minutes they had to stop and redo it. And the cameras are so big that if I was having a scene with Joe, we couldn't look at each other because the camera's friggin' enormous. So we're literally it's all acting prowess. So like it's like this is what I was saying before going into the film to anybody encouraging people to go, was just that however you feel about how the film goes or whatever, that's aside, how it was made, the effort that was put into it, that alone is amazing. Like that alone is so impressive.
Epic, if you will.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And the Cyclops they had a 60-foot marionette puppet.
Yeah,
for this thing
on set, right? And you know what I really liked about the Cyclops' design is how it looked like his face was just kind of sideways.
Crunched.
No,
Yeah.
it was like sideways because
Yeah.
the eye opened properly if you were turned to the side. It opened
Yes.
like that, and the nose was kind of sideways. Now the mouth was kind of normal, but it looked almost like a face just was like just twisted in a mirror. So I really, really liked the design of the Cyclops. That was it.
I
just
did
wanted to chime in
too.
with that.
And interesting fact, so there was like 3 different aspects. There was a little bit of CGI that they used just to smooth the movements and whatever of the puppet and of the actor, but the actor was actually Cindy Lou Who's father from Jim Carrey's The Grinch Stole Christmas.
Who played the Cyclops?
Yes, and he also voiced, and which I had no idea was a puppeteered Tars in Interstellar. I had no idea. I just learned.
You mean the robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird
So
little
he was literally
robot.
behind it, working it and voicing it.
I knew Cindy Lou's family was talented.
And you see what I'm saying?
Well,
So guys, we got all that, and then of course the musical score. The musical score is by, I'm probably going to say it wrong. Forgive me, guys. It was Ludwig Göransson, who also did Oppenheimer, which was Chris Nolan's last big film.
Yeah.
And he also did Mandalorian and Grogu, which I've talked about. That soundtrack is fire.
Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu came out on digital last Tuesday, a few days ago, and I really want to buy it. It's $30, and there's no reason to buy it because it's gonna be on Disney Plus in like 2 weeks. But
It'll be streaming soon.
I can't lie, I'm gonna buy it.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna buy it immediately.
They deserve your money.
Yeah,
Give
and
it
then
over.
you know what else came out today is Disclosure Day and Scary Movie. And you know what the funny thing is, out of all of those, Scary Movie is the one I shouldn't buy because that's going to be cheaper, like before any of the other ones. And
Yeah.
I'm probably going to buy that one first.
No, and
Sorry.
you just mentioned Disclosure Day, and I was having a conversation with my coworker earlier today because I was talking about the Odyssey and what I'm talking about with you guys, where like we're talking about a film in an age where we're kind of sick of CGI, right? Like a lot of people are getting kind of over it. We're getting kind of over the green screen, and so compared to Disclosure Day, I'm reminded of a scene where a train grabs a car and drags it, and it's the most CGI faked scene I've ever seen in a new
Disclosure
movie.
Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's horrible. It takes you right out of the movie, and it's just like, why couldn't I'm just shocked that he went with that and was like, that's good. Like and then you get this movie, The Odyssey, which is all practical effects for the most part. All sets, no green screen, all people, no extra in CGI. It's just so good. It felt so good to have this film. No, it meant a lot to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like it felt like an older movie.
Well, you know what? It's one of those movies you definitely have to see in the theater. And if you're in Michigan, the best place to go is MJR Theaters. And you know what? We're going to actually have them tell you right now.
It's more fun at MJR. Don't just see the movies, experience the movies in IMAX at the MJR Troy and MJR Southgate Cinemas. See the movies like never before in stunning 4K laser IMAX projection on a massive screen. Feel the movies with heart-pounding IMAX precision sound and experience true movie-going bliss in our fully powered luxury recliner seats. Get your IMAX tickets at mjrtheaters.com for the world's most immersive film experience. Now featured at the MJR Troy and Southgate Cinemas.
So our producer had this awesome idea where we would show DVDs because, like, media and like in the theater. And it was
Yeah.
funny because me and Ryan forgot to grab DVDs till right before. So none of these would be playing at a theater, but that's okay.
Night of the Living Berg might.
Oh, yes. Night of the Living Borg is actually fantastic. A buddy of ours did that. Andy Cash. Yeah. If you guys haven't
boy.
seen, check out that short film.
That's right. It's a great one.
It is. All right. Well, anywho, I guess it's pretty much time to jump into our first actual, segment, which is, of course, a little thing we like to call spooky stuff.
A Leshy, or Lesovic, plural Leshy, is a male woodland spirit in Slavic mythology who protects wild animals and forests. There are also, walk with me here, guys, Leshachika, or
Leshachika?
Lezakika, which are the wives of the Leshak.
All right.
And the Leshonki, that one's fun to say, children of the Leshy. He is roughly analogous to the Woodwoes of Western Europe and the Pasahun of the Basque country.
Pause, not you. You. Hold on.
I know.
Wait, all right. So correct me if I'm wrong. Woodland spirits,
Yes.
they're kind of like humanoid, but they're little elfy, and
Yes.
they protect and they have kids and wives, and okay.
And they're, they're very, where they're the protector basically of the forest, and
Alright.
they hate us.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Continue.
I will. So, the Leshy is a sportive spirit who enjoys playing tricks on people, though when angered, he can be treacherous. He is seldom seen, but his voice can be heard in the forest laughing, whistling, or singing.
Whistling and singing wouldn't necessarily freak me out, but if I'm in the middle of the woods and I don't see a person and I just hear laughing,
You're hearing laughing
I'm
or
gonna
whistling.
I'm gonna be
I don't know.
really the whistling, like I said, the singing wouldn't even. Well, it depends. If they're like singing nursery rhymes, really creepy, like the itsy bitsy spider. I'm gonna be like, oh my
Who's
god,
that?
is there a giant spider that's gonna get me? Like, what is happening?
Oh, dude,
Right? It'd be awful.
it
And
would be awful.
I don't know. I don't want Radagast to kill me either.
I'm so glad you said that because this guy like reminds me a little of like Radagast and like Tom Bombadil like meets like evil spirit.
All right,
Like an
evil Tom Bombadil.
Yes,
The Lord of the Rings film we deserve.
indeed. Let's do it. There we go. Copyright Earthling Entertainment. In his native forest, the Leshy is as tall as the trees, but the moment he steps beyond, he shrinks to the size of a blade of grass.
I'd stay in your forest.
A Leshy usually appears as a tall man, but he is able to change his size from that of a blade of grass to a large tree. He has hair and a beard made of grass and vines. He is usually missing a right ear. Yes, always missing the right ear. And
Which ear did Van Gogh lose?
I don't know.
I just want to know if there's a connection.
That's good. That's a good point. That's a good point. So, I did not even think to tie that in.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
And is sometimes depicted with a tail, hooves, and horns like a satyr. He has pale skin that contrasts with his bright green eyes. A Leshy has a close bond with a gray wolf and is often seen in the company of bears as well. He is the forest lord and carries a club to express that he is the master of the wood. He has blue blood, which makes his cheeks.
It's like, I got a club because because I'm gonna beat your ass.
Shush.
Yeah, like, I am the master of the wood. Like, I
No,
don't
you're
know.
not.
I feel like the club is kind of a hat on a hat because if you have a bear on one side and a wolf on the other, I don't really give a shit that you have a stick.
I'm gonna club you while they eat your
Yeah,
face.
Exactly. I'm more worried about the bear. I'm just
I'm
saying.
pretty worried about the bear.
Yeah. Like, I get insult to injury, I guess.
Right. So, so he does have blue blood, which makes his cheeks flush blue.
Huh.
Legend describes him as having a red scarf and his left shoe on the right foot. He also has no shadow.
Oh, well, that would be freaky.
Right.
I might not notice right away though. I got ADD. I'm gonna look down and just. It's gonna be like 20 minutes before I'm like, hey, that's odd.
That person was really paying attention.
Yeah.
Like whoever saw him. He doesn't have a shadow.
Yeah. I feel like unless the guy is like a nosebleed or anything, like also the blue blood isn't really gonna come into play unless like there's gonna be other signs that this is a forest spirit before you're gonna see the dude bleed, is all I'm saying.
That's true, but maybe that means someone did make him bleed.
Yeah. Or maybe just stubbed his toe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just because he's a forest spirit doesn't mean he can't be clumsy.
That's right. You know, maybe some of the wolves played a little too hard one night, you know? Anyways, so Leshy protects the animals and birds in the forest and tells them when to migrate. He can shapeshift.
Hey, get out of here! Go south!
It's getting cold. You're gonna die. Go.
There's nothing more. Continue.
He can shapeshift into many forms. As a human, he looks like a peasant with glowing eyes, and his shoes are sometimes on backwards. A person who befriends a Leshy can learn the secrets of magic. Farmers and shepherds would make pacts with the Leshy to protect their crops and sheep. The Leshy has many tricks, including leading peasants astray, making them sick, or tickling them to death.
You know,
We have a lot of ticklers.
yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
If I had a nickel every time there was a creature that tickled you to death.
Let me tell you that the moment I found out that this dude tickles, it solidified that I had to do it this week. Because I'm like, didn't we yeah, we did a spooky one last week. And I was like,
It was an old like witch or something
Yeah.
that tickled you to death.
that
But
tickled you to death.
it just feels like such a weird way to go. Like, would you want that on your tombstone? Be like, well, at least he died laughing.
Dude, but it hurts.
I mean,
I hate getting tickled.
it hurts in a sense that you suffocate.
Right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the problem is you stop being able to breathe when you're laughing so much.
I guess. Yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
And also, you have this giant, crazy man spirit thing tickling you, and that's kind of unnerving.
Well, you know, I'm just happy that they're happy.
Moving right along.
Yeah, right. I was trying to think of something funny, and I'm like, there's no way to really make this. Like, what do you do? Like, I guess you just, if you have the power to tickle someone to death, it's just funny to do it. Like, he could just do anything else, right? But he's just like, I'm gonna make you feel like a real prick about
He's
this.
into it.
Yeah.
That's a thing. You know, it's a you know what I'm
that
saying.
makes
Some
it
people are
creepier.
into it's a
That
fetish,
makes it
a
creepier.
fetish, right? I guess is what you'd say. So
Oh man.
they're also very mischievous. They are known to hide the axes of woodcutters.
Just to be
What a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
A person gets lost in the woods when a Leshy crosses their path. To find the way out, you have to turn your clothes inside out and wear your shoes on opposite feet. And then you may find your way.
So you'd have to really lose your effing mind because unless you had that information, you wouldn't have resorted to that.
And he's just like, I really didn't see this coming.
Yeah. You know what? Fine. He earned it. That guy.
So Leshy, remember that's the plural, are terribly mischievous
It should be
beings.
Leshy.
I do. You're right.
Yeah. The Leshy.
Leshy. Actually, you're
Leshy.
probably right. Leshy.
Yeah.
I've probably been reading that wrong. Joe's right. Leshy. Leshy are terribly mischievous beings. They have horrible cries and can imitate voices of people familiar to wanderers and lure them back to their caves, where the Leshies will tickle them to death.
Damn it.
I told you this was gold.
Yeah.
They also remove signs from their posts. So it's like you just come up to an empty sign. It's like, well, dang. Leshies aren't necessarily evil, although they enjoy misguiding humans and kidnapping young women.
I mean, that feels kind of evil.
They're also known to keep grazing cattle from wandering too far into the forest and getting lost.
Okay. Well,
So
I
they're
guess
looking
this
out
is-
for the cattle,
That's right.
kind of
That's right.
screwing us. Like I said, they hate us.
Yeah, I
They're
guess
forest creatures.
I
Of
don't know.
course they hate
It
us.
feels like if I did half of these things, they would consider me evil. But I guess the Leshy's fine.
Well, he's taking away the woodcutter's axe. He's cutting down little squirrel's home. It's
How
messed up.
annoying would that be if like your only job is to cut wood,
And
and
you
every
just-
time you turn around, the dang
Just
axe-
every time, like literally, like again.
yeah, to like tie the axe to your belt, like, and that's how tool belts were invented.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leshy.
Mhm.
So sometimes cow herders will make pacts with a Leshy
Who
by handing them their crosses from around their necks and sharing communion with them after Christian church gatherings. These pacts are said to give the cow herds special powers.
What? What does that mean?
That is literally all I got.
That's all.
No, I got more.
I was like, the cows got special powers?
My guess is that they would just live a long life.
That's not what they say, though. I want like a cow with ice breath.
So
Like, can you imagine if all your cows turned into like X-Men, and then you got to deal with like a cow that shoots lightning and a cow that like has laser eyes? Be like, this didn't help at all, Leshy. This made my shepherding so much harder.
No.
Why have
way.
you done this?
Dude, it's like my childhood dream come true. A bunch of cows with superpowers. Anyways, so sometimes more than one Leshy inhabits a forest, and then they will fight for their territory, knocking down trees and scaring all the animals.
Leshy combat. We're not going to sing another one. Continue.
Lashing Leshies. There you go. There's the name of the episode.
Oh, dude. No, Leshy's lashing out.
Leshy's lashing out. I love it.
Yep, there you go.
Leshy's lashing loud.
No,
No.
You
A
think it's-
Leshy is a demon or spirit from the Dictionnaire Infernal. There, he is a Slavic forest being, similar in nature to the Polovic sprites. He protects the birds, trees, and animals of the forest. He appears in the shape of a human with blue skin, 2 great horns, green hair, and a long green beard across his face, carrying a club or whip, indicating his mastery of the forest.
This guy seems really like
Pretentious.
overtly perverted. I don't know.
Like, yeah, he's
I am the beast master.
look upon my wolf and my bear.
Yeah. I kind of like how he's blue. What's up with forest creatures being blue? Smurfs are blue. The Na'vi are blue. If you're in the forest, you're like blue. I once saw the Blue Man Group camping. It's crazy.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. What is up with that?
That's true.
I don't think there's anywhere to go there. Just a weird observation.
So should you ever encounter a Leshy, one must thwart him immediately by turning all of one's clothes inside out and backwards and placing one's shoes on the opposite feet. I felt it was important to let everybody remind everybody
That's the
of
way
this
to.
fact. That's how you get out of it.
The only one who would survive is my 3-year-old. He puts on stuff backwards all the time.
So he's fine.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He'll live.
The highly popular portrayal of Leshy in the game Witcher 3 as a deer skull headed entity has been adopted by many Slavic myth inspired writers and used to portray both Leshy and various other Slavic myth creatures and gods. Recently, this trend came under scrutiny and mockery, mostly in Polish memes about neo-pagans. This is a part of an ongoing controversy and debate about just how much the video game Witcher 3 influenced and reconstructed Slavic paganism in Poland. I really wanted to include, that's the last I've got on this,
No,
guys, but I
that's
really, because he still has an impact in modern day, and it's a real thing, because the Polish, I believe their government is very religious based. So,
I don't like the idea, because if them changed it to the skull, it's going to look more like a Wendigo creature. And that is
yes,
good
and
for,
it does.
And that's good for a video game, but that is far different than like a satyr looking, blue skinned, green beard, like, Radagast looking guy.
I agree with you, and I included it on there just because over there they call it a Leshy. So where we call it Wendigo, and it did. They
no, dude,
really
Wendigo's
did.
a completely different thing.
I agree. No, I agree. Completely different thing. But like literally the way they depicted it and they call it a Leshy, it's a Wendigo.
It's described and looks like a Wendigo.
Yeah, and it's in
Yeah.
the game. I've seen it, and everything. I've seen clips of it, and it is cool looking. But yeah, that thing's a Wendigo. but they just So anyway, I just thought it was really funny. Uh, one of the bands that I really like, Behemoth, the singer of that band has had to stand trial because of his satanic albums. Like it is literally a religious country. Like it's crazy. So
I
even
get being
this,
angsty, but if you're in an overly religious country, maybe not do an album about Satanism.
I mean, one might say that it's because of the overbearingness of it. That's why the lash out, that's why the rebellion came from within.
All right, fair
I
enough.
believe his name is Nurgle.
All right,
Way to go, Nurgle.
go,
And he always
Nurgle.
wins. They can never like convict. They just make him stand trial, and it's big public stunt of being like her.
Well, it's just free advertisement for him then.
Exactly.
Well, that was, you know what, Ryan? That was a really, really good spooky stuff.
Thank you.
And guys, we're looking for spooky stuffs all around the world. We do cryptids, we do ghosts, we do myths, we do legends. And if you have something that you think might actually be a good suggestion, we'd love to hear it. You could always hit us up at earthlingentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, we always check it. Either that, Instagram, you can get a hold of me. But thank you for that spooky stuff, Ryan.
Thank you guys for joining me. What a journey. Let's do it again next week.
Yeah. So now it is time to move in to our pop culture section. And our pop culture section, sometimes, a lot of times lately,
Yeah.
always has a wonderful celebrity guest.
Lauren Marie Taylor has been a beloved presence in film and television for decades, earning a special place in horror history with her memorable performance as Vickie in Friday the 13th, Part 2. Beyond Crystal Lake, she's built an impressive career with roles in films like Girls' Night Out and In a Violent Nature, along with numerous television appearances and stage productions. It was an absolute pleasure sitting down with Lauren Marie to talk about her career, her experiences in the horror genre, and what she's been up to over the years. We hope you enjoy our conversation with the phenomenal Lauren Marie Taylor.
Hey guys, I'm sitting here with Lauren Marie Taylor, and you gotta recognize her from Friday the 13th Part 2. She played Vickie. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, Friday the 13th Part 2 is actually 100% my favorite Jason Voorhees film, and I'm gonna tell you all why in a sec. But first, let's hear from the woman herself. Lauren, hi.
Now, if I'd known you were going to start with that, I would have had a couple of props here. I actually do have a couple of props behind me. You can probably see some odd things behind me. This is my little office here. So I've got, I don't know, I've got some dolls, got some pictures, Brett Wagner, a bunch of people. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, it's getting so much love with its 45th year since it came out. So I appreciate the love. Thank you.
No problem. And I think the real reason why this one was one of my favorites is because it still felt like camp counselors. As the sequels went on, we just had more reasons why there was groups of kids at Camp Crystal Lake, but the true counselors, that's what you guys brought to it.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm wearing one of my Camp Crystal Lake bloody t-shirts.
Awesome.
You thought I was going to flash you, but I wasn't.
Well,
but anyway,
thanks. We could have had millions of views. Jeez.
No, you don't want to do that right now. Just getting back into shape after a whole winter off. But yeah, I mean, a part of it too was that it really was like a camp counselor experience because we were staying at the camp where we were filming. So there were two camps side by side. You know, where we were sleeping, New York accent coming out, where we were sleeping was up the hill from the camp where we were filming. So all of us were actually living together at the camp, not at a hotel.
Wow.
And yeah, I think that's what made it feel so real for everybody too, because we're living and breathing the whole world of Crystal Lake. Yeah.
Well, you know, they say a film set is like a family, and I guess in living in such close quarters, it had to be. And I wanted to know, how did it actually get started for you? Like, how was your audition process? How did you get involved in the film? And what was that first day on set like?
Well, it's funny because I'd been doing TV commercials, you know, school plays, obviously. I was still in high school when I started, you know, professionally and whatnot. And my first film set was on the movie Manhattan with Woody Allen because my agent at the time wanted me to make the transition from doing TV commercials to the pace of filmmaking and what that was like. And, you know, you take all day to do a 30-second commercial, you know, but she wanted me to understand from, you know, a step back what it was like to be on a film set. So after that experience, I started auditioning for stuff, mostly soap operas, to tell you the truth. But I booked the movie. I had an audition. It was with a casting director who, I was in her orbit, especially when they asked for an all-American kind of awkward, quiet type of girl. And she's like, yeah. So I was brought in, and I almost got the part immediately. And that was really cool. I was very lucky that the stars aligned for me to be in this.
The first day you walked on set, when you got to walk into Camp Crystal Lake, what did that feel like?
Oh no, it was weird. It was so weird because I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the South Bronx, not Riverdale. I'm from the Bronx. Grew up in a tenement, moved to the projects. I mean, the real deal. Okay. And so here I am at a sleepaway camp. I'd never been to the country like that before. Never been to Connecticut, of course. Didn't even have a driver's license yet. I mean, really New York City. So, you get there and I'm like, wow, so many trees. Ooh, that's not a beach. That's like a lake. And it was just such a new experience for me. I was so naive about summer camp in general. Summer camp to me was playing outside in a fire hydrant with the spigot open full force, getting your bathing suit ripped off of you practically from the force of the water coming out of the fire hydrant. And there we are, with bugs and poison ivy and, animal sounds and a lake. And I didn't know how to swim. So it was actually quite terrifying because they wanted us to get used to the feeling of being in a camp before we started filming. So we were there for a couple of days just to get used to it before we actually started filming. And then luckily the first thing we filmed was the campfire scene. So it was low pressure for us. I'm pretty sure that was the first one. Maybe that was the second one. But anyway, it was low pressure for us because John Fury did all the talking.
Sure.
Story about Jason. Stu Charnel comes out with that ridiculous outfit on. So it was almost like those horrible icebreakers that you do on the first day of a job where everybody has to say, what's a fun fact that somebody would never know about you? And I'm like, I got a million of those, but I'm not going to disclose them here. So that's what it was like. Yeah.
That is awesome. That the campfire scene I always describe as like the ultimate exposition scene. Like you got right in there because after the first film, as you know, Mrs. Voorhees is the killer in the first film. So
yes,
coming up with a way to continue the franchise was interesting because you had to create your own mythology, and picking the little boy Jason, who was just essentially a catalyst for the story in the first film.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you guys think that you were like, wow, we started something great? Or was this like, oh, this is kind of a reach. I wonder if people will swallow this pill.
It was weird because the first one, the original one, had just come out not long before our audition process. And so I hadn't even seen the first one. So for those of us who didn't see it, they had like a little screening at the Directors Guild. So we got to watch it. I think only a couple of us were there. I barely remember it. I think it's just a couple of the crew guys and me and one of the other guys. So we watched it and I was like, wow, this is kind of weird. Okay. I didn't think it would catapult into anything. I just thought, well, I guess they just want to finish. I'm thinking, finish the story, not knowing that, the one with the puck and the hockey mask, and that's going to take off and going into outer space. We had no idea when we were filming this. We just thought it was like, dotting, putting the period at the end of an open sentence. That was part one, and the thing I had not an issue with, but I was always curious, and I still am to this day. When we see Jason at the end of part one, it's not called part one, it's just the original, come out of the water into the canoe at Adrian King's character, he's like a little pollywog, he's like a little tadpole. And then flash forward, I don't know how many years later it's supposed to be, where you see Adrian King in her kitchen with her cat, probably a few years later, but I'm thinking, well, then
how does Jason,
yeah, how is Jason so much older? Because he seemed to be like a grown man in part two.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe he was just this oversized, warped teenager. I always questioned that. I mean, his feet were big, so I always questioned how old was Jason supposed to be, and how many years after Adrian King gets attacked by the tadpole is this taking place, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The guys who made the original obviously said that they thought that that ending was just a nightmare and didn't actually happen. So if that's the explanation, then you can say we didn't actually see Jason till part 2 because that was just a nightmare. Maybe, I don't know. But the timeline is not the weirdest thing in the franchise. If you remember right, in number 8, there is a boat in Camp Crystal Lake that somehow gets to New York.
Oh gosh, is that Manhattan?
What?
Is that Jason Takes Manhattan?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen the whole thing. I'm sorry.
No, it's fair. See, that is your privilege as a heroine from one of the originals.
I know. Well, I tell people because I think there's this expectation. A lot of people expect legacy people to have seen all the films, but I know most of us have not. I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm sure people who were in the later parts of the franchise probably went, oh, let me go back and watch the first couple to see the origin stories, see where all this started,
Sure.
And they go back to doing their own. But for those of us who started it, who were in the ground floor, so to speak, we're just kind of like, well, it should have ended with us, but it didn't. I thought he'll kill the guy, but I guess not.
Well, that's the fun, right? It's like Frankenstein's monster just keeps coming back. I mean, Jason Voorhees is royalty up there with Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers. I mean, some would argue Chucky. It's the horror trilogy. I always said they were the replacement for Universal monsters as far as like what we consider as iconic horror villains.
Yes, yeah, the werewolf. Yeah, I agree. Totally. Yeah.
Well, you obviously played Vickie, and I wanted to say that your scenes with Tom McBride, who played Mark, are some of the most memorable character moments in the movie. What do you remember about working with him, and how do you think you guys were able to come up with the chemistry you did?
Well, we had known each other from the TV commercial circuit. So they would always sort of pair us up and then decide we looked like too much like brother and sister to be a love interest. So when we ran into each other, I don't think we auditioned together. I could be wrong. I don't remember. Because, you audition with so many people. When they like you, they keep you. And they use you to audition the guys to be opposite you.
Sure.
So that's what happened with that. Maybe that's why I knew I had the part right away. I'd forgotten about that. Thanks for reminding me. But anyway, so we knew each other. So when it came to getting the head mold done, that was the same day I went in to get that little piece of latex for the blood pumping through my leg for the blood and whatnot to be when I get the knife in my leg. So we were there at the same time at Carl Fullerton's studio. So we were shooting the breeze and I just hung out with him all day for about 4 or 5 hours. So that by the time we got on set, not only had we known each other previously from TV commercials, we also got to know each other from when we were getting our latex molds done of our various body parts, obviously him with the machete through his head. So it was very easy on set. And I always thought he was so cute. And I was always flirting with him. And he's like, Lauren, how long have we known each other? It ain't going to happen. I'm like, I know, but a girl can flirt, And it was part of the character. So I thought, let me work that into.
Well, I mean, it worked. Both of you guys, it was adorable. I mean, let's just say, I know that word might be a little weird, but I'm going to say it. It was adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. Yeah.
Your film was the introduction to Jason Voorhees, but in your film, he actually wore a burlap sack with a single hole for an eye instead of the Jason mask. And a lot of people who aren't 100% familiar with the franchise didn't actually know that. And I wanted to know, in your opinion, what is the better Jason? Do you prefer burlap sack or do you prefer hockey mask?
Well, I feel bad for Jason Voorhees because he's got a warped face. When you see him come through the window, it's like, oh, that poor guy has to wear a sack over his head because of that face. I mean, when my brother and I were kids, we're only a year apart. He's a year older than I am. He used to tell me I was so ugly I would have to put a bag over my face. And once in a while, put a bag, not a plastic bag, but, paper bag from the store over my head. So I always thought about that when I was filming the movie. And, you'd see it was Jerry Wallace, one of our crew guys, who was the guy lurking around, not doing the stunts, not coming through the window, but killing me and doing all the lurking. And I used to think, God, that must be so hot under that sack. I mean, it was more uncomfortable with a paper garbage bag over my head to annoy my brother, And I'm thinking, I think the mask might be more comfortable. But then as the movies progressed, he had like algae and all kinds of gunk around it. So I think if he had just kept the sack, he could have gone to Kmart or Walmart or one of those marts and just bought them in bulk, continue today and just buy them online in bulk so that if he had gunk on it, he wouldn't have to worry about the mask sticking to his face forever. He can just change it out. So I think the burlap sack or pillow would have been great.
Yeah, yeah. And now why don't we take it a little bit further and he'll get a brown or a red one. So it just really does match with all the gunk as it happens.
Yeah, or get a Chewbacca one so you can walk around these Chewbacca and people would be like, wait, I'm confused. Are we mixing franchises here?
Oh, no, it's perfect because, if his goal is to murder teenagers, I mean, if you throw them off guard and they don't run right away, that only makes your job easier.
Yeah, this is true. And if you got this creepy hockey mask with all these things on it, you're going to run. I mean, if I saw CJ Graham walking around, with a sack over his head, I'd be like, a guy thinks he's a ghost or whatever. You see the Jason mask and you're thinking, oh, come on, geez, run. Clown mask too, right? You see somebody.
I don't know. I'm from Detroit. If I see anyone masked approaching me, I'm a little worried. So it's just in general.
So you must have freaked out during COVID with everybody with a little mask on.
We all had our moments, didn't we?
Yeah. You know what I got from Chris Rowan has Buffalo Bill's house, where they filmed the Silence of the Lambs at the end of the movie.
Right on.
Billy Foster, that guy. So I met him at an outdoor event. I think it was Monster Mania in May or June of 2020. And he had masks made up with the logo for the Silence of the Lambs. So it had this like weird looking moth type of thing on it. And you put it on and it was creepy. And he goes to a lot of those conventions. I'm thinking, if anybody started walking towards me with that mask on, I'd be running too.
Well, when you were your character, of course, Vickie, when you were killed with the butcher knife, I wanted to ask you, how was that day on set? Were you nervous about the getting killed, and did it live up to what you'd expect from your character?
She had to go upstairs and look for Jeff and Sandra, and they had been skewered in the bed. So. Right. I mean, when it was weird, because I was excited to film it. I thought this is going to be so much fun, because, we were there just hanging out during everybody else's murder scenes. So we got to watch everybody else's process too, because, they didn't want us going back and forth. They just said, oh, just stay and watch. So even on days I wasn't working, I was on set because I was living there. And so I thought, oh, everybody else is having so much fun with their kill scenes. I was thinking, I'm going to have fun too. But it was creepy because, we're in that small room. Poor Bill Randolph and Marta Cobra are stuck in this. Oh, no, Bill Randolph was out of the bed at that point. Sorry, that's the older dog. So it was kind of cool. They had the effect of the lightning, the guy jumping out of the bed, coming towards me, and the screaming. The problem that happened is that the blood capsule that was in my mouth was supposed to burst. But because it had been in my mouth for so long while the camera's on this, like little railroad track called a dolly, while it's coming towards me on its little railroad track, the outside of the blood capsule got soft. So when I bit into it, the blood was supposed to actually go like this, right? And I was so excited. I thought, it was going to get blood everywhere. I'm screaming, I'm crying. I bit into it because Steve Miner went like that to bite into it. So I bit into it and the blood just went, cut. So he cut. So he goes, Lauren, you have to bite into it hard. I said, I did. I said, but the capsule got soft in my mouth. He said, well, I don't want to edit this. I want the whole, the screaming. Of course, you go into the rating system and the board decides it's taking too long to kill her. So they wound up cutting it down anyway. So had we known that they were going to do that, Steve Miner would have had his wish. He would have been able to cut away, have me bite into it when it's nice and hard, have the blood spurt out, and he would have gotten his wonderful shot. So it was fun to do up to that point because you never want to disappoint your director. And I knew it wasn't my fault, but I knew he was disappointed because the capsule wasn't doing what he wanted it to do. And I felt like it was my fault, even though it was the capsule.
Right. Well, best laid plans every time, especially filmmaking.
Yeah, yeah. And I directed enough community theater, especially multi-generational. So youngest person is 5, oldest person is 85. And, when you're talking live theater, that if something goes wrong, and I always stayed backstage because if you can see it happening, it's like you just send somebody else on the stage really quick to clean up the mess, whether it's to be whisper something in someone's ear, nonchalantly, or pick up a set piece and go, oh, let's move this over here if they miss a cue. I mean, you just roll with the punches, even in filmmaking, even on the soap opera. And, the motto is just keep going until the director says cut. Trust your director. And, trust your director.
Trust your director.
Yeah.
Well, you were there the whole time. Like you said, you were staying there. So when it comes to rolling with the punches, what were some of the other punches, so to speak, whether it was with you or someone else while on set that you witnessed?
Oh, well, Kirsten Baker, poor thing, she had to go into that water and the weather was already turning into early fall. So it was very cold. So when she goes into the water, I think you can see her teeth chattering. So that was hard. Russell Todd was actually hanging upside down for a little while. And it was uncomfortable for him. But he has, nothing but good things to say about it. It was just kind of like, okay, I'm still hanging here, hello. For me, the most terrifying thing was when Steve Miner said, okay, so Lauren, you're going to go to the dock and you're also going to jump in with everybody else. Because he had no idea I couldn't swim. I said, Steve, I can't swim. He like did a double take. Like, she doesn't want to get her hair wet, prissy actress. And I said, no, really, I can't swim. I grew up in the Bronx, no pools, no beach, no nothing. Fire hydrant, get a fire hydrant, put me on it, So that's how I got to be in that scene where Stu Charno is telling a joke and I had to ad lib any line that you hear in that scene. I'm ad libbing because I wasn't supposed to be part of that scene. So there I was. And he's like, all right, go over to the lifeguard chair, which doesn't face the lake, funny enough.
Just one of those quirks.
It's one of those quirks that you don't see on camera, but it was there. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to know that some of the other people in the franchise have mentioned that when they did another Friday the 13th, that they didn't know it was Friday the 13th right off the bat. I assumed that wasn't the case for you since you guys were only the second one, but did they try to hide what movie you were making or did you know immediately?
We knew immediately because they told us. Yeah. They said, this is a sequel to the first one that just came out a few months ago. They showed it to us. The only thing they did differently, which is it's very common in the industry to do this, especially with movies, not so much with TV shows, but especially with movies. Although my husband worked on the new Crystal Lake series that's coming out, and it's called Crystal Lake, but the working title was called Mama's Boy. So they try to keep it a secret now. Because they don't want people gravitating. If they find out where something is filming, they don't want people gravitating and watching, and spying and writing about, because, people blow up everything online. Like, oh, here I am on the set of Devil Wears Prada 2, but I'm not really on set. I just found out they were filming here. So with us, our scripts actually said Jason. So I don't know if they plan to call it Jason. I believe they did. And then when Friday the 13th, the original got my iPad is doing weird things. Sorry. You like paranormal stuff. I do live in an old house, about 100 years old. So something weird is happening with my iPad. Anyway,
it's just trying to get the perfect angle for you. It's fine.
Not what it's doing, but it's wild. So anyway, so I think once they realized what a huge hit the original was, they're like, we got to put the name in. Friday the 13th, part 2. And that's why
brand recognition.
Brand, exactly. As Warrington Gillette said, it's all about the brand. It's all about the brand. And so that's why when the ads came up, you saw the countdown. And that's what made it so effective for part 2, because they counted down all those kills. And then they went, part 2, breaking the glass, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah. It was cool. It was a cool trailer, I thought.
Yeah, it was a really cool ad.
Yeah, yeah. People send it to me sometimes on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that ad. It's really cool.
Well, what was your thoughts the first time you saw the finished film, and where was the first time you saw the finished film?
Gosh, I don't remember. I think I just saw it around the corner from where I lived. We didn't have any big fancy premieres like they do now, or they've been doing for a while now, not just like they've been doing now. Um, so I just saw it in the movie theater, and I remember looking at it and just kind of like going like this.
Why?
Yeah, I was like
Come on.
watching the TV because I mean, I was used to seeing myself on a small screen,
Sure.
on TV. Even Manhattan, it's a long shot. You can see it's me. It's me. Woody Allen handpicks every person in his movies, and I was handpicked with another Phil McGregor, another actor from the same agency I was in. And we were put together as a couple, and you can see us, and it's me, it's Phil McGregor. But then there's In Your Face, Lauren, and I was just like, oh God, it's me. I ran out of that theater like this. Oh, I want to see that again. I almost considered leaving the business because I was so mortified at what I looked like on the big screen. I was like, are my teeth really that big?
That's hilarious, because your iconic scream is like, if you look up Friday the 13th Part 2 Scream, it's you doing
Yeah.
your. I mean, that clip is used for everything.
Yeah, and they played it at the Oscars when they had like this big anniversary for something. I don't remember what it was. It was like an ode to horror, and my scream was included in that. They didn't pay me for that either. Anyway, a lot of people think they did, but they didn't. So that I liked. I was like, okay, because then I knew I didn't have to watch myself. But even when I come across it, like if AMC is having a marathon, and I just kind of flip on to see which one they're up to, and I go, and I'll just flick it on, and I'll look at it, and I'll go, oh, I know that person. And I'm like, oh wait, that's me. You always like, whenever you see yourself unexpectedly, you just go, oh, that person looks familiar.
Oh wow, right, I did do that iconic horror film.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, did anyone recognize you in the theater that time you were there?
I hid. No, I
hid.
hid. I ran. I hid. No. And then fast forward just a couple of years, and I find myself on a soap opera. And about 6 months in, we're flying to visit my husband's family in Cincinnati. My husband said the strangest thing to me. Oh no, we were on our way to Seattle for a family reunion. And my husband said to me, because I could open up the emergency exit and push you out. And I'm like, and he goes, and you'd land somewhere in the middle of the country and someone will know who you are because of the soap opera. And it's like, I didn't even think of it in terms of Friday the 13th. Because when I was on the soap opera, I had to sign an agreement that says you will not embarrass the network in any way. And one of the things that they mentioned was don't talk about the horror movies. Just don't. And I'm like, because it wasn't considered cool. Now
there was like a stigma for some reason back then.
There was stigma, and and I changed my underwear, and I'm thinking the things I do on this soap opera, I mean, come on, that's nothing compared to the things my character does on the soap opera. But now everybody wants to be in a horror movie because they realize how fun and iconic it is.
Yeah, well, there's something cathartic about watching people who are framed as deserve these bad things happening to them, having bad things happen to them. I mean, so many things in life, we don't see people getting consequences for their actions. So there's something really that we just crave to when we see horror movies.
Yeah, but I didn't deserve it. Vickie didn't deserve it.
No, you didn't. I mean, Vickie was lovable. It was such a lovable character. I mean, you have so many fans. Can I ask if you don't mind, what is the weirdest fan interaction? Not necessarily creepy, just weird.
Well, of course, there's the signing of the brown undies.
Makes sense.
Only had a couple of those, but that's always hysterical because whenever that happens, the person is usually a little sheepish, thinking and it's always prefaced with the brown undies behind the back in one hand, the sheepish smile, and you kind of know, okay, here we go. They're like, I don't know if you want to do this or not? And I'm thinking, oh boy. But I was wondering if you would be okay signing these. And I look, I go, oh my God, eBay must be thrilled, or whoever sells these types of things on eBay, because those are hard to find, in that color, in that material. But people find them. I don't know how, but they find them. So that's funny because of the sheepish looks on their faces. But it's also funny because, then you're signing on your crotch area, not on the rear end, but on the crotch. So it's always amusing. Yeah.
But you also must do you ever get a butcher knife or something like is more related to your character in particular?
Yeah. Usually when I'm doing appearances with Warrington Gillette, he'll have he brings machetes. I don't know why, but he brings machetes with him because I guess it's a thing. So I wind up signing the machetes. Yeah. I mean, I've signed life preservers. I'm not sure why, but I guess, there's that scene.
With the lifeguard, yeah.
Yeah, with the lifeguard chair. I've signed canoe oars, I've signed, obviously, T-shirts, hats, Funko Pops. Someone made a little, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can see it. A little thing of me. So I've signed some of those. People can order them, and I've signed, not for me, but I've signed some of those, and that's kind of cool. In Germany, somebody actually took like a Barbie type of doll and completely reworked her. So it's like a life-size Barbie, not life-size, but, a regular-size Barbie doll. And it's dressed up like Vickie. He had the sweater made, and he had made the satin undies, the brown satin undies. So I had like mini, like the kind you would get when you're buying clothes for your Barbie doll.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at that. That was cool. And I wish I'd been able to. And I was with Judy Aronson when we were in Germany, and the same fellow made up one of Judy also. And it was a lot of fun for us. And we looked at each other like, how do we steal this without this guy knowing?
No, I always said if you get an action figure made of yourself, like people have different levels of like when they consider the fact that they've made it. Well, that would be my level, action figure.
Yeah, I mean, if it was mass produced, it'd be one thing. But yeah. But I get a lot of fun, fun gifts. Jason masks, needlepoint items. So it's fun stuff, like that you get. Yeah. And then meeting other people is always a lot of fun. I mean, Butch Patrick, Eddie Munster. I mean, I was a huge fan of his growing up, of the Munsters. And there he is. And it's, and now when we see each other, it's like we've known each other all our lives.
That is awesome. You know what? Because of Nick at Night and Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s, I was very familiar with all those old shows. So I'd love to meet Eddie Munster. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And, like I said, my husband had a point when he said I could throw you out of an airplane. Not that he would ever do it, after 43 years of marriage. He hasn't done it yet, so I'm okay.
At this point, he's committed.
But it's the same way. It's like you grow up watching somebody, icons, and then when you meet them, you're just like, this is so cool. I mean, I don't get giddy. I get giddy about sports figures, but it's really cool, to meet these people. I met Alan Cooper. I met Richard Dreyfuss, and we were, our tables are right catty-cornered with each other. So you're just hanging with these icons, and you're thinking, this is the only world, music world, sports world, but where you're near people who you grew up watching also, where you're just having a regular conversation. I was talking to Dreyfuss about Mr. Holland's Opus, and he said, thank you. And he grabbed my face, went, mwah. He said, thank you. He said, nobody ever asked me about Mr. Holland. No one. And I said, well, we are at a horror convention.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. He says, well, do people ever ask you about the soap opera? And I said, yeah, actually they do. Sorry. So it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't forget that you are also an icon. You are also someone's Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, there are people who are so in love with horror that they will get pictures of you tattooed on themselves. I don't know if I could find one online, but if I can, I'm putting it up on screen right now.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, there is an artist online, and he sends me the files and whatnot, so my convention agent can have them printed out. He does these wonderful like pop art type of things of me. I've posted several of them, and they're really cool. And I'm just like, and I look at the stable of women that he draws, and I'm just so honored to be in this group. And I'm just like, why me? And they're really awesome. And sometimes they're very sexy pictures. And I'm like, dang, I wish I looked like that for real.
A year after Friday the 13th, you did another horror film.
I know.
You did Girls Night Out.
I know. I did. I got that up here too. Yeah, I did Girls Night Out, and that's where I met my husband, who played Ralph Bostwick in it. We didn't really have any scenes together, but we have a scene where he's sitting next to me and my back is towards him, and I'm busy flirting with somebody else.
Well,
Yeah.
how did those two experiences compare? Like, I mean, almost back-to-back horror films. What were the differences?
They, oh gosh, they were alike in the way of the camaraderie, because we were always, moving together. The basketball scene, the party scenes, and eating dinner together, because when you film at night, like we would do, they would always have this huge banquet table, so all of us ate together. Crew, directors, producers, all the cast, everyone, background actors. So it had that kind of feeling of camaraderie. The difference was because it was a much bigger cast, and we were able to go back home at night and be normal. When we would get together, we were a very rowdy party group. So it was much different. Steve Miner, it was a very tight ship. This was a tight ship too, but they let us ad lib the hell out of it. And that made it a very different experience. So it was a lot of fun. And there was more blood for my kill in that one.
Yeah. So describe that kill for me, please. I mean, obviously your experience on set, not what we see on the film.
I got it here somewhere too. I got everything here. I should have had it ready for you. So I get killed like this with a bear, or it's a mascot. It's not a real bear. So it's somebody who's dressed up. I'm not going to give it away because for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's called Girls Night Out. So close your eyes and don't listen. But I get killed by a guy dressed up as a bear mascot, and he's got like the Freddy Krueger before Freddy Krueger was around. So he's got these knives as claws, and he goes through a window and slits my throat into a million cuts, and blood just pours. So much blood. I watched it recently because one of my good friends, Julie Dove, she's an actress out in LA, who does soap operas and voiceovers, all kinds of stuff. Wonderful friend for many years. She said to me, Laura Marie, she still has her accent from Texas. Laura Marie, she said, you've got to watch that movie, because she helped me with my website. And there's a clip from Girls Night Out on my website under fan favorites in that page. And I said, I haven't watched it since it came out. She goes, you got the DVD, you got to watch that movie. So my husband and I sat down, and we're laughing our asses off, eating popcorn. We're like, this is actually a lot of fun. This movie needs more love. It's got to be put on Shudder or someplace, because it's so much fun to watch. It's just high camp all the way. I highly recommend it if anybody hasn't watched it to see it. But I am signing a lot more of those DVDs too, along with Neighbors and In a Violent Nature too. Now I'm signing a lot of In a Violent Nature posters.
Yeah, I could imagine. And I'm just thinking that why did that not become a franchise? We could live in a world with 12 Girls Night Out. I don't know how you pluralize that title for sequels. I guess you just keep doing the part 2, part 3, part 4.
Yeah. Girls Night Out again.
Yeah.
Or It Happened Again. Or The Mascot is Back.
Another Girls Night Out.
Yeah. Here we go again.
Yeah, the final night out. Never mind. It writes itself. We're good. I'm gonna track down the rights. We're gonna make this film, and we're gonna find some clever meta way to bring you back.
Yeah, that would be funny. Or do a prequel, where I'm my own mother, and another actress plays me as a young girl. That would be fun.
There you go. But you have to only film that actress from the back of the head and make her just kind of leave as if the events of the film are happening simultaneously.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Maybe have like those old school cell phones that are this big, how come you haven't called me back? Yeah, come on.
The legacy of Jason Voorhees, just what was created in that film that you did, just has gone on and lived and survived through so many eras, including that weird period of time where we weren't given anything Friday the 13th due to a messy rights issue.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop the fans. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you appeared in 3 different fan-made complete Friday the 13th movies. And I actually do have to double check here. Let me see. It was Never Hike Again, right? Or Never Hike Alone?
Yeah, never hike. Yeah. I was just a voiceover for a newscaster for that.
It's beautiful,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, that was cool. Um,
9 Lives?
yeah, that I did during COVID, and I just basically had to self-tape it and sent it along. So yeah, so there's that. And then more recently, do you have this one? It's uh,
Loose Ends?
I keep wanting to say ripped to shreds. Isn't that terrible? But that's the fiction that I did, not fan fiction. It was Lost Movies, Lost Slasher of the 80s, and that was a comic book. Um uh but yeah, it's Victim No More 2, Loose Ends. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That I just did last year, and that is gonna be something else. People are gonna be floored by that one. It's very good, very well written, very thought out character, and I was really happy when I got the script. I was like, this is great, this is great. And I said to the writer and one of the directors, it's Bobby Heckman, because the co-director is Catherine Mary Stewart, who you might know. I said to, he's like, do you want to change anything? I said, it's perfect the way it is. I don't want to change a thing. So I play a character named Julia, and it's really neat. So I can't wait to see it.
So recently you did the film In a Violent Nature. And how was it jumping into a horror film after so many years? And what is the differences that you found with horror movies made then versus now?
It was so crazy how that came about. It was just one of those things where the stars are aligned. I mean, I knew part of the story, and then I recently found out the full part of the story on how I became involved. And I'm just so honored to have even been considered for this role after so many ruminations by the director on where the character should go, who it should be, whether it should be male or female. So I'm just so honored now that I know the whole story, that in retrospect, it was just such a big deal to be a part of it. And don't forget, I had been teaching first grade in East Harlem for many years. So aside from a film that I did for someone who, an exchange student who was staying with us, who wound up going to film school, who said, when I do my first film, I want you to be in it. And he actually had it done. It was a treatment for a future film that he's doing. And I played a mother. I had to cry. Her daughter's on heroin. So that was like I kind of tiptoed back into it. And I thought, wow, I kind of missed this. So when I retired from teaching, it just happened to have aligned that a couple of years later, and a few, I'd been doing conventions and, just kind of like rethinking my life and considering acting again, but not really getting back into it except TV commercials again. Of course, I restarted where I had originally begun. And when I have the DVD up here, that's why I keep going like this. So when In a Violent Nature came in, it was just like, wow. So I went all the way to Sault Ste. Marie. You may have heard about it because there's one in the United States and there's one over the bridge in Canada. Right on. So, north and then west of where I live. And not knowing at all what to expect, because I come in at the end of the film, but I also came in at the very end of filming. So I was getting everybody and all the crew at the very end. But because it was an indie film, it was very much like Friday the 13th, because it was a minimum budget, as an indie film has, if you're not backed by a major studio, you're an indie film. You got to do fundraising, you got to get investors. And so it was a small crew. The director was hyper focused because, like Steve Miner was, time is money. He had me for 2 days and 2 days only. And so he was hyper focused on getting it done. And being older, right? And having years of experience on television and of course in movies and of course in theater, it had been a while since I had been with a group of people, young enough to be my children, or old enough / young enough, my kids' ages,
Sure.
in their early 30s. So it was just so shocking to me to see the focus that everyone had, from the costume / makeup designer to the assistant director to the sound man to the cinematographer, and then, of course, Chris Nash, our noble leader and director / writer. I was just so impressed and in awe of their talent and their focus that it really made me think this film industry moving forward is in very good hands if you've got more of these guys in it. So that's why it was just such an honor to be around such an amazingly young and talented director / writer, because he wrote it too. And that was very cool. And the actors in it, I mean, I only worked with and Andrea, and but Rye was there visiting, so I met him. So it was very cool, because she's, Andy Pavlovic is a very talented young lady, multi-talented too. She doesn't just do acting. I was just so impressed, and so being on that set and getting my feet wet again, I was a little nervous because it had been a while, and you'd think, well, they're all younger than you, Lauren. Well, you're not going to be intimidated. But I was a little intimidated because I thought, wow, and it made me hungry to work more. And I think that's why when offers started coming in after the movie came out, I thought, hell yeah. And if I like something, I'm going to do it. If I don't, I won't. And that's happened a couple times. But I thought, this is great. So anyway, long answer to your question, but I was just so impressed. It was great.
No, that's awesome. And welcome back, because now it means I have a chance to work with you at some point. So I got to get down to writing, and we'll talk.
Yeah, make me a crazy cat lady. I keep asking, like the guys, Charlie Steeds and David Lennox from Dark Temple Motion Pictures. I did 2 horror movies with them, right? And when we chatted, on Instagram, DMing back and forth recently, I said, just make me a crazy old lady. That's all I ask. I want to be a crazy cat lady. Now I'm down to 5. I've got 5 cats. No, 6 now. One just died. So I had 7, now I have 6. I inherited a bunch of cats from my mother, who passed away, and then my elderly aunt, who passed away in the past couple of years. So past year and a half. Oh my God. So I have all these cats that aren't mine. We only have 2, but now we have all these other cats. So I keep saying, I'm a crazy cat lady. Just make me a crazy cat lady. Maybe make me a murderous crazy cat lady.
Well, you could do what you did with One Night Out and just have, instead of a bear claw, have a cat claw.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I do have bears and foxes out here, so
There you go.
I've got the training going on. The bears have shown me a lot of things out here. How to stand up like a bear.
Well, so if you are out there where there are bears and all these other things, so you're a little bit in a rural area, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, let me ask. So we are, as I mentioned earlier, a paranormal and pop culture podcast. So I always love to end every one of these interviews with the question of, have you personally ever experienced a paranormal experience, whether it be ghost, aliens, or what have you?
I have many times experienced a ghost.
Right on.
3
Please
three
tell.
times. Yes, 3 times stand out. Okay, and when you hear the circumstances, you'll know I'm not BSing you.
All right.
So when I was younger, when we moved from the tenement to the projects, we were across the street from a young cemetery at the time called St. Raymond's Cemetery. Graves were still way out there. They hadn't filled up yet, right? And middle of the night, I woke up with a start. And I look out, my brother and I shared a bedroom, and I look outside the door of the bedroom and I see a woman in a white flowing dress, almost translucent, carrying a baby in her arms, and she's obviously completely pale and whatnot. Her hair is long and flowing and all completely translucent white. And she's just holding this baby, and she just looks at me sadly, and she goes out the open bathroom window. That was the first one. Second one, fast forward a few years, we were raised by our elderly grandparents, my brother and I. And of course, when you're raised by elderly people, their relatives are always keeling over of old age. So one of my grandmother's sister, Gladys, of course, passed away. So we took the Greyhound bus from New York City to Utica. I'd never met Gladys in my life. So we're staying in the house that Gladys shared with my grandmother's other sister, Chacha Mary. And I'm on the couch, and it's one of these old Victorians in Utica with French doors and everything. Absolutely gorgeous. Middle of the night, the French doors blow open. And in comes this woman I had never met. Okay. I didn't know who she was, but she was old. Okay. And I thought, okay, it's not the same one I saw. I pulled the covers over my head. It doesn't end there. All of a sudden, I hear my grandmother in the bedroom. Gladys, what are you doing here? You're dead. Okay. So I thought, okay. So fast forward many years, we have a security system, because we live in the middle, yeah, I'm mostly to catch the wildlife, but, we put it and we have a bunch of cameras around the house. And, every morning I like to check it. Well, I wonder what a bear. Oh, there's a fox. Oh, there's a coyote. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, turns out to be a nature cam at that point.
Right. Well, it is. Yeah. So, I actually repositioned one towards where I know the fox lives so I can see them coming out with the babies. I'm like, oh, look at that. My husband's like, that's not where that's supposed to turn. I said, I'll get another one for that side of the house. Anyway, so I'm looking at, I'm going, it's about 2:30 in the morning or so. And I had other sightings at 11 o'clock at night, but nothing like this. So this was an image, again, all white, translucent, bonnet, old-fashioned bonnet, old-fashioned high neck, ruffled pinafore type of dress, older, just kind of walking like this through the yard, the front part of the property, off to the side, and then out of camera range. I rewound it. I'm like, pardon my French again, what's that? And I'm looking at it. And so I sent it around to everybody, and everybody in the family is flipping out. Well, we live along the Revolutionary War Trail. And there are Indian burial grounds where they, at that point, had recently, this is going back a while, had recently built mansions on. And people were like fighting it. Don't do it. These are burial grounds. Don't disrupt the burial grounds. They built anyway. And so I'm thinking it must have been her. I was telling another friend of mine about it, and I had sent it to him actually, because it's into paranormal. And he's like, oh shit, that's real. And I sent him something else too that had happened right at the back door. And he said, that's real. And I told him where we live. I went to look, I saved it on my phone, right? I went to look at it, like, I don't know, 6 months later, and it was gone.
Oh.
I downloaded it from the camera server to my phone, and it was gone. We have a new system up now that is, really captures them. That was the first system that we had. There was another time when my mother was, you have to understand, my mother was very sick. She almost died before we started taking care of her. So I'm not being disrespectful, but she was so sick, she had no business still being alive. That's how sick she was. And I became her private care nurse, and it was very difficult. And one night, I would say 2 weeks after we moved her in, the dog moved at and our border collie, we didn't have the younger one yet. We didn't adopt him until after my mother passed. But the one that's now 5, he never barks. We call him the quiet dog. He went like this and woke me up. And all of a sudden I heard in my left ear, in a deep guttural voice, she's already dead. And I get goosebumps still doing that, because I looked at Banjo, and he's very intuitive. That's the dog's name. And he just looked at me, and his eyes were wide, big as saucers. And usually his ears are flapped down. He doesn't have those typical border collie ears. He has more of the cattle dog. And his ears were like as up as they could be. And they are never up. Oof. And he was like, so that's my, whoa. That's the only time I've actually heard a voice. So that's a different, right? That's like a different.
Yeah. I got chills. There's some goosebumps there. Yeah, it reminds me of there's a recent horror film came out called Good Boy, where it was just the dog's point of view.
Yes. You like that one? On the air, I was watching it on the airplane, but then my flight was over, and it even said on the screen, "You don't have enough time to finish this movie." I'm like, ah. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just my name, Lauren Marie Taylor, with the number 1 behind it. I know I come up on Facebook, but every time I try to do Facebook and I try to post something on my Facebook wall, it winds up on somebody else's. So even though I'm on Facebook, don't message me on Facebook, or well, you can follow me if you want, because once in a while I'll post there. But the main one is Instagram. I have a website. It's just my name, laurenmarietaylor.com, and I try to keep it up to date.
Well, once again, it was a pleasure talking to you. And from everyone here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya. And there you have it. So, Ryan, I have a goal now. I want to try to get at least one person from every Friday the 13th. And so this is our first check mark. Let's see what we can get next.
Can I request Corey Feldman?
If I could get Corey Feldman on the show, we're going to get Corey Feldman on the show. There's a lot more than just Friday the 13th, where it would be amazing to have Corey Feldman.
I'm just saying, but that was my favorite Friday the 13th was his.
Okay, fair enough. The 4th one. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I know I said the 6th one is my favorite, but here's a shout out to Jason X, because even though he went out into space and it seemed ridiculous,
He got an upgrade.
well, all I'm saying is that the characterization of Jason, which Kane Hodder played in that film, it still was quintessential Jason. Like, it followed the rules. That whole film followed the rules of the franchise while still being ridiculous and in space.
Him
So
killing the hologram girls was the best scene.
it was excellent. I was going to humor you. No, it was the best scene.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a tip to the hat to Jason X, and a tip of the hat once again to Friday the 13th Part 2, which, as I've said a billion times, my favorite one, because it introduced Jason, it introduced a lot of the rules,
Yeah.
and it was even before the hockey mask. I don't know. So thank you very much, Lauren, for being on the show. And let's just keep this pop culture train running, and we'll move right into the Earth Pop Report, talking about everything to do with Earth pop culture.
Woo! Here we go.
Number 1, Afterlife with Archie ordered to series at Disney Plus. Disney Plus has officially ordered a live-action adaptation of Afterlife with Archie, based on the acclaimed Archie comics horror series by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa and Francesco Francavilla. The series follows the residents of Riverdale as they struggle to survive a zombie apocalypse after a supernatural resurrection spell goes horribly wrong. How could that happen? Aguirre Sacasa and Greg Berlante.
Greg Berlanti.
Berlanti, thank you, are attached as executive producers. But I'm just saying, we always curse Greg on this podcast. Damn you, Greg.
But all right, so I mean, I got some thoughts on this, which is namely, Archie's been around for like 50 years, man, and Archie's just done everything. So why not have a zombie apocalypse story? And also, I love to see any property suddenly deal with zombies. That is hilarious.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, everybody could do it.
Yeah.
Like, even SpongeBob did zombies, I think, at one point.
Everyone needs to do zombies.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I know. I think Ninja Turtles has a zombie comic coming out, like in the next few weeks. I mean, anyways, I'm about this. I don't know if how connected it's going to be from the Riverdale series that they made. Wouldn't it be funny if they brought back all the actors and they just did like a sequel series where it was zombies? I don't know if that's what they're doing or if they're going to do a fresh take and recast everyone, but Archie and zombies.
Archie and zombies, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to number 2. Chloe Feynman. Chloe, forgive me, I'm so bad with names. Chloe Feynman is leaving Saturday Night Live. After 7 seasons, Chloe Feynman has announced she's leaving Saturday Night Live. Feynman shared the news on Instagram, saying it felt like the right time to move on, while calling the cast and crew her family. She joined the series in 2019 and became known for her celebrity impressions of stars like Britney Spears, Jennifer Coolidge, and Drew Barrymore.
I like Chloe Feynman. It's funny because she's the last cast member besides Keenan, of course, Lovey Keenan, that I really care about. So I don't know. Some of these new cast members got to win me over because this the last season and this season have been a lull for me.
Okay,
And,
I haven't kept up, I'll be honest. I just, I see clips here and there, but Man, just on a side note, I had no idea how much crap Keenan went through to get to SNL. Like, he worked his absolute butt off. Like, he earned every bit of it. Like, he had all of his childhood money stolen by his original lawyer. Like,
Ah.
it's a real thing. The dude was a con man. So, like, he had to basically start over, and he just worked his butt off and got the call.
Fair enough.
I just learned that.
I have to look into it. I know nothing about that.
It was pretty cool.
But anything that makes me like Kenan Thompson more.
That's what I'm saying. He earned it, man.
All right.
So
Go
that brings
Kenan.
us to number 3, to Danny McBride to direct a new G.I. Joe movie.
See, it's the direct that surprises me.
A little bit.
Yeah, because it's like he's written a lot. So if it was like, oh, he's writing the new movie, I would. But like, what deal did what short film? Like, what did you do to get someone to be like, yeah, you could direct? Reg from Pineapple Express? Yeah, you could direct it.
I mean, maybe, he's got a lot.
He's done a lot, and he's done a lot of good stuff. It's just I never heard of him being a director is my only point. But they're going to reboot it. I mean, they're talking about some names, and nothing's been confirmed, but another fresh reboot. I mean, we had G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, and then we had like G.I. Joe Retribution or Reboot or whatever it was called. And then we had a Snake Eyes movie, and none of them really hit. And it was basically every time we make a G.I. Joe movie, we kind of soft reboot it.
And what's crazy is the toy market is still huge for G.I. Joe.
Really?
Very. I follow Hasbro Pulse and Hasbro in general, and they still I get emails. Yes, I'm a nerd. But yes, I get emails from Hasbro, and they're always telling me like, oh, either new Transformer or new G.I. Joe. They're always doing new stuff. I don't know what's going on. So people love it.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why they keep trying to make these movies work. And if toy sales are the reason, that makes sense.
So let me dive in. Danny McBride is reportedly set to direct Paramount's next G.I. Joe film. The project is expected to reboot the franchise with a fresh take. Though casting has not been officially announced, reports have been linked to actors including Walton Goggins, Chris Pratt, and Bradley Cooper.
Ignore all of those names, because you know what that is? That is some producer's wish list.
Yeah.
That is someone being like, it'd be great if we got these people.
It would be great, right? So
we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, because people want to root for America.
I just think of all the old YouTube spoof, like they would overdub the PSA, and it was hilarious.
Meatball sandwiches or meatloaf sandwiches.
Pork chop sandwiches.
Pork chop sandwiches. That's what it was.
Get out.
Pork chop
sandwiches. Some people go to bed at night and they're all peaceful and good, and then they wake up and they're on fire. G.I. Joe. That brings us to number 4. The Mickey Mouse Club gets another reboot. Oh,
finally.
Boy. Yeah. Sure hope this doesn't go terribly for them in the future. Disney Plus has ordered a pilot for a new version of the Mickey Mouse Club. The revival will feature 11 new Mouseketeers and aims to introduce the iconic variety show to a new generation after helping launch the careers of stars like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, and Ryan Gosling. There's like 2 out of those. So it's a 50-50. Toss a coin. Half of them are going to do pretty good. The other half are going to go crazy.
Yeah, no one really talks about Greg.
This is going to ruin the world tour.
Oh, man. I don't know. When I was a kid, I would have loved to be a kid star. And like in hindsight, knowing what I know, it probably would have ruined me and I would have been a terrible person. But when you're a kid and you're the magazines, when you look at the covers of like Disney magazine or whatever, the websites or whatever, I wanted to be a kid star. So I imagine if the Mickey Mouse Club comes around to Detroit to do like auditions, instead of bringing my kid there, I'm going to dress up like a child and I'm going to try to do a go of it. I feel like I could pull off a 12-year-old with the right prosthetics. Have you ever seen Orphan? I can do it.
Joe? Joe.
Yes.
I believe in you. I support you. This is not going to work.
I could be famous, Ryan, and you will not take this away from me.
I'm not going to take away that. Yeah, you have the potential to be famous, but I don't think this is the way.
All right.
This is not the way.
I'll try something else.
Bringing us to number 5. of Avatar, The Last Airbender,
Yay!
animated movie coming to select theaters early before its wide theatrical release. Avatar, Aang, The Last Airbender will receive a special 1-week engagement in select theaters in Los Angeles and New York from July 24th to the 30th.
All right.
The limited run, well, let me finish.
No.
The limited run follows the film's leak earlier this year and gives fans an opportunity to see it on the big screen ahead of its official release. That's a funny response to it. It leaked a bit, so we'll let you.
This whole thing has been a cluster. It was
Oh.
supposed to be a theatrically released movie. It was supposed to be a widely released theatrical movie. Then earlier in the year, they said, all right, we're going to do direct to Paramount Plus, or it might have even been last year. Really upset me and a lot of fans. It sucks. And then someone working on the film, I guess, who was pissed off that it wasn't being released theatrically, leaked it online. And now they're just like, oh, well, we're going to do a limited release in New York. And, and that's great. But I don't live in New York and I don't live in LA anymore. So I'm in Detroit and I don't get to see it. So I'm just bitter and I think it's stupid.
I agree.
But no, that being said,
I'm
it is cool that if anyone who wanted to see it in theaters gets the opportunity, but it's kind of just damage control because it's like
Yeah, it's
they
weird.
should have just Paramount doesn't have a huge theatrical slate this year in theaters, so why did you shelf this essentially by putting it in?
We have been talking about it for a while.
I know. Anytime there's a story about it, I bring it up because I care.
I know. Guys, Joe loves Avatar, The Last Airbender, and
The whole series. The whole
I've never,
franchise.
I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not something I got into. I love like Dragon Ball Z. Like, to me, I feel like this was your DBZ
Sure.
almost in a way.
Why not?
And no, I really hope it happens in a great way. I hope you love it, bro. When
Yeah.
you get to see it.
I'll see it. I'm gonna get a trial to Paramount Plus and then cancel Paramount Plus again because screw Paramount. But yeah, all right, continue.
Pee-pee. That brings us to number 6. Jennifer's Body 2 reportedly in the works.
It sounded like Ron Burgundy. You had a question mark. Jennifer's Body too.
That's right. See, I'm getting better at this if I'm sounding like Rob Burgundy.
Excellent.
That is a high ledge to reach. Dread Central reports that a sequel to Jennifer's Body is moving forward, with director Karen Kusama and writer Diablo Cody expected to return alongside Megan Fox. Amanda Seyfried is not been officially confirmed, though reports suggest that she is expected to reprise her role.
Yeah, she always was a supporter of it. She'll definitely return. Unless they completely screw her when it comes to the deal, she'll come back.
Okay. Well, I mean, didn't see the first Jennifer's Body. I just know synopsises. I've seen many scenes, and it was just not a movie that really spoke to me. So I'm just kind of shocked that, and it's been a long time.
It was a girl power movie about succubus.
And it was like, it's been a long time since that one came out. So
it is kind of funny because in that film, they were high school students.
Yeah.
And I'm no disrespect, but they're like 40 now.
Right. That's what I'm wondering.
So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. That brings us to number 7 with the Blue Beetle returning for James Gunn's DCU.
That's right. Zolo.
Reports indicate Zolo Duena. Sorry, the N with the little thing is a nya. Meridenia will reprise James Ray's The Blue Beetle in Man of Tomorrow, the sequel to James Gunn's Superman. Blue Beetle is expected to be one of the first heroes from the former DCEU to make the jump into the new DC universe.
Yeah, not a lot of the people from the old one are going to come over to the new one, but James Gunn said when the Blue Beetle came out that he's like, oh yeah, this guy is totally going to be brought into our version. So it's not really new news, but the confirmation that he is going to be in Man of Tomorrow is the new news.
That is cool new news.
Yeah, excellent.
You guys are welcome for the new news. Let's take the Batcave to number 8. The Batman Part 2 is delayed again.
Yep. We're never going to see it.
Warner Brothers has pushed the Batman Part 2 to 2028, which is a bummer because I really love the Batman.
Yeah, and it's really it's funny because when that movie came out, they were like, this is the young Batman. This is the early years. And the second one takes it's not really, but like 10 years to come out. It's silly. It's so long. It's too long.
You're not wrong. I can't disagree with you whatsoever. Like, yeah, things used to be a little bit more, let's go. Next movie.
Yeah.
Director Matt Reeves recently shared new camera test footage, but fans will have to wait even longer for Robert Pattinson's return as the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Well,
Vengeance.
I don't know. Nothing more to say. It's bullcrap. It's like GTA 6. We're never going to get it.
All right. Well, that's okay because we've got lucky number 9 with the best article we've got today.
I did want to say something, guys. Everyone has heard about this raccoon that is in Seattle, and Ryan was like, "We got to do that for real world weird."
Jimothy.
But we both talked about it. And we're like, it's going to be old news by the time we get to do it because it's going to be like a week and a half out. So luckily, I was able to find a news story to fit into our Earth Pop so we could talk about Jimothy.
Zug Zug. Viral raccoon Jimothy joins the world of Warcraft, and may his blades never dull. Seattle's beloved viral raccoon Jimothy has become such an internet sensation that Blizzard created an official World of Warcraft version of the rotund critter. Jimothy, who likely has a rare spinal condition, has inspired fan art, memes, and now an official in-game tribute.
I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny to think this animal is human famous and it's never going to know.
It will
It's
never
just
know.
living its life. And it's like, raccoon, you famous, bruh. Like, people know you. You got a name that you don't even know what it is.
We think too much alike because I swear to God, I thought the same thing earlier today. I was watching so many videos of him. I'm like, and this poor guy has no idea. He is literally famous.
There's an entire species of people staring at pictures of you all the time.
And what I love from our perspective, being a podcast that we cover a lot of cryptids, I actually saw like a lot of interviews where people are like, man, it reminded me of a cryptid. And I was like, yes, people know that. And what's funny is all the news reporters are like, what the heck is that? And they like explain, they're like, it's something like Bigfoot, it's a creature. It's almost like supernatural. And I'm just like, people get it.
People get it.
People get it. We're
Well,
spreading the word, guys.
Jimothy, he could be a cryptid. Like, think about it. If it wasn't the age of the internet, if it wasn't for the age where everyone had videos and it was just someone talking about, like, I came across this creature. It was like a raccoon, but it was shaped like a ball. You know what I mean?
And when you
And
suspect,
a few other people see it, and suddenly it's an urban legend and it's a cryptid.
and now you're thinking, oh, maybe it was a shapeshifter and it got the shape wrong.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
know
I
what I
mean, there's
mean?
all
Like-
these, but all of that speculation comes from an actual sighting of a deformed animal. Like, it's so anyone who says cryptids aren't real, even if you don't believe in the supernatural aspect of it, don't just discount the fact that there could have been something out there that someone saw.
Exactly. And maybe it was an evolutionary fluke. You know what I mean? Maybe it is like a version, but this is like it branching off in a weird way. Maybe this could help it in the wild.
Maybe, probably
never know.
not, but yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe it would turn into like, remember those 80s stuffed animals called poppables, and they're popples, and they were like the weird little furry thing that like turned into a ball. All it was is it had a pouch.
I think I do.
Yeah, well,
because there
anyways-
was a whole there was a lot of toys that did that. You could turn them inside out.
Well, these were the first.
Okay,
All right,
I give them their props.
excellent.
Okay, no disrespect.
All right. Well, speaking of respect, a lot of people died this week,
They
and we're going to
did.
talk about them right now. The last one's the saddest.
Hollywood's lost 4 notable figures this week. Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day co-writer William Wisher Jr. has died at the age of 71.
71 is a good age, but dude, he wrote Terminator and Terminator 2. Like,
Some of the best, arguably the best sci-fi action films we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever.
And then that brings us to veteran actor Hal Williams, best known for 227 and Sanford and Son. He passed away at 88.
dun 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 dun. Is that Good Times? I don't know.
I don't
but
know.
anyways, God bless you, man, for being a sitcom legend.
Yeah, that's right. And that brings us to Academy Award-winning actress Brenda Fricker, remembered for My Left Foot and Home Alone 2.
She was the pigeon lady.
That's
On
right.
the park.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Dude, we all loved her. Yeah.
We did. You know what else she was? She was the foster mother from Angels in the Outfield.
I knew her from something else. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that. It could happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie. So, and forgive me. So she died at the age of 81, and then actress Kaylee Hoddle, who portrayed Gia in Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla times Kong vs. Kong. It's an X.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
the
Godzilla X Kong, I
yeah,
think.
the new Empire has tragically died at just 18 years old following a car accident. And my gosh, like absolute shout out to her friends, family, fans, colleagues. What a loss, because oh my God, because what a future she had.
I mean, dude, to put that in perspective, that girl was born 2 years after we graduated high school. Like, holy crap.
Oh, dude.
18 is too young to die.
No, it really hurts, man. Because it's just like we love these franchises, and then we've got these people who are going to build on it, right? Like she did a great job, like a great character, really sold it, and now she's gone.
I know.
Like,
And you know what that means? We're left with Millie Bobby Brown. They're gonna have to bring her back because
I
she was
mean,
in Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I don't know what happened to her character, but they never brought her back. But now maybe they will.
they're gonna have to figure something out
You know
because
what else
man,
is?
what
Sam Neill was in the new one. This Godzilla X Kong Supernova. Sam Neill's one of his last films.
and dude, like just talk about boots to fill on both sides. Holy crap. No, we definitely tip our hats to all of our past amazing entertainers in every single way. We will continue to do this every single week because that's what we do.
Absolutely. So, thanks for creating art that we'll always remember. And see you in the next life.
That's right. So I guess it's time to move to our next segment, which is very near and dear to my heart, and that is
Disclosure discussion. Ha 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 ha. It's about aliens and stuff.
So my quick comment when it comes to disclosure discussion is that Ryan has gotten he's gotten really, really into this. Every disclosure discussion you've seen for the past few weeks, and all the ones I suspect you'll see coming up, have been carefully created by Ryan. He finds these stories, he reads them, he researched them, and he really is giving them their all. There's videos, there's photos, and I this is so much more exciting than this segment used to be. So thank you for everything you've given to it.
I appreciate it, man. And it's like, and I encourage our listeners, our viewers to go to war.gov because you can literally click the little menu button on the right, bring it down, and it just straight up says UFO. And you can scroll all the way down and you can specify, do you want the first, second, third, or these all come from the fourth release, which was on the 10th of this month, July 10th, 2026. And just look through it. There's so much to see. I've really been going through it with a fine tooth comb. And these ones, like I said, are all new. So I really wanted to cover these today. And
Love it.
you can go ahead and roll the first video right now. The United States Indo-Pacific Command submitted a report of an unidentified homologous I hate saying that word. Let's just say a UFO to the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, consisting of 4 minutes and 57 seconds of video footage from an electro-optical and infrared sensor system aboard a U.S. military platform in 2023 in the Yellow Sea. This video is among many documents recently released by the United States Department of War and an ongoing disclosure of classified documents involving UAP. So I went ahead and chopped this video down for you guys that's playing right now. And because there's a whole lot, but I made sure to include all of the important things. So here's my own description of it. The video starts with the camera staying still until the object was picked up by its sensors. We watch as the camera struggles to keep up with the UFO, and once it does, we can see the operator cycling through different filters and contrast settings, trying to get a better picture of the object. Once the infrared system was able to focus on the object, we can see that not only is it awkwardly shaped, but it seems to be changing its shape as it flies along.
Oh my god, it's an amalgamous thing.
This UFO is similar to what has been described as like the squid UFO. Remember, we covered these before. It reminded me of that.
Maybe it's a atmospheric beast or a plasmoid.
It could be, that's a possibility, but it's moving fast and it's low.
Oh, right on.
So this one seemed a little bit lower. It was closer to the water. It was definitely something that you could tell that because you could see the waves breaking in the background. So this is something that's a little lower. So I do not suspect this is an atmospheric beast. It was moving very fast. And if you watch that video, guys, like I said, it's labeled as from the Yellow Sea. That's the only one that has that label on that website. So check that one out, guys. Tell us what you think. So that I want to move along to the next video, and this one I would like to play at least 3 times. So here we go. The United States Central Command submitted a report of UAP to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, consisting of 10 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2023 in the in the Middle East.
I like in the military.
In the military East. Forgive me. So this is a shorter video that has been declassified, but it's nonetheless intriguing. At about the 6-second mark of the original video, we see a UFO enter the screen from the bottom right, and it even seems to flash a red light as if it knew it was being monitored before suddenly changing course and darting off to the bottom left of the screen. The object moves so fast, it almost looks like it changes shape once it accelerates and changes course. This video has been slowed down for observational purposes. I did that for you guys. That's at about 1/4 the speed. Trust me, it was so fast that it's so hard to catch. I did that for you. This one I really, really like. It's a really cool video.
All right, so now we're down to the third one or the next one?
So the next one, yeah. So that was the second. So let's move to the third. Go ahead and play this video twice. The United States Navy unidentified UFO task force transferred this video to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office in 2022. The video contains 21 seconds of footage likely captured from an infrared sensor above a U.S. military platform in 2015. No formal data handling practices for UAP-related records existed at the time that this media was reported. This media was digitally altered before being reported and is presented as it was received by the AARO. In this footage, we see a UFO traveling extremely fast, almost directly at the camera, crossing over its left shoulder and off into the distance. This reminds me of my experience. That's it. Literally,
Yeah,
this video was.
I remember when you called me. So Ryan is driving home and he gives me this call and he's like, "Dude, I just saw a UFO."
I did.
And I was like, "Oh, I want to believe you, Ryan, but you're gonna have to walk me through this." And this is what he said. He's gonna tell you exactly the way he told me.
I was driving down I-75, and it was like a pretty clear day. It was bright out. Not that cloudy. And I'm just driving. I'm just doing my thing. I don't know what I'm listening to. And just off in the distance, just like this video you guys just saw, it just like over the top and left of my car.
Just there and gone.
I saw a shine. So it was metallic, but it was so fast. It was like blink of an eye, literally. So, guys, the more videos like these that are declassified, the more we learn that there truly is a lot of UFO activity happening around the world all the time.
Yeah, and remember, when we say UFO, we're talking about an unidentified flying object. We're not necessarily saying it's an alien spacecraft. It could be, but there's plenty of other things it could be.
Yes.
It's just something in the air that, as far as everything we understand and know, shouldn't be there.
And that's the thing is, say what you will of the government, because we all know, let's face it, we're in disclosure discussion. I can say this. I grew up knowing the government lies to us about UFOs and aliens.
To be fair,
They lie to us.
every government probably lies about a lot.
Exactly. So we know it's all a lie. So I get it. We have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Like when they release things like this. But I can't help but just be like, you know what? At the end of the day, these are things that they just couldn't explain. And they couldn't explain it for worse or for better, so they feel comfortable releasing it. So I'll take it. So guys, keep an open mind and keep your eyes up to the skies. You never know when the smoking gun of all sightings could happen.
Wah, ha, ha, ha.
Honestly, leave a comment. If you're on our YouTube right now, leave a comment about how you feel about UFOs. Have you seen one? Have you experienced one? What's a story that really spoke to you? We really want to see it.
Absolutely. And whoever leaves the best UFO comment, I will pin to the top.
That's right. We'll pin to the top. And if you hit us up on our email, we might even send you stuff. We got lots of stuff to send.
That's right. Well, guys, I hope you like that disclosure discussion, just like all the other weeks that Ryan has really gotten into it. I mean, I love the videos. I love the photos. We're getting real deep into disclosure here, buddy. Well done.
Thank you very much. I feel like I might start diving back into some species next
Okay.
week. It's been a while since because we need to get a little obscure, because I feel like we've covered the main ones. And
Yeah.
I really want to maybe get into some of the weird ones. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
I'm in, and I'm sure everyone watching here is also in. You know, the weirder, the better. I mean, I just like things that are weird.
I love things that are weird. I love you.
I love you, and you're weird as heck.
So that must only mean one thing.
When things start getting weird, it brings us to
Real world weird.
haha, seamless.
Seamless. Maryland man brings stolen kitten to attempted bank robbery.
I mean, why not?
She's the brains of the operation.
I don't know.
The Maryland man is accused of attempting to rob a bank with one of the most unusual partners in crime imaginable, a kitten. He had allegedly stolen this kitten.
I mean, hold on though. If you're a cop, are you going to shoot the guy holding a kitten?
but he's got a kitten.
It might be actually a foolproof plan, but continue. I'm just
Guys,
thinking.
he's got a kitten.
Yeah,
You gotta
well,
let him
I
go.
don't know, man. I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to just randomly shoot someone in general, but I don't think I could shoot a guy holding like a little cute animal.
Just tears streaming down like the most muscular, like badass guy you've ever seen. Just put the kitten down. Just put it down.
Or like something else. You're thinking of like the most evil person in the world and be like, I just can't do it, sir. Why? He's holding a fluffy kitten.
And they're just like, my God.
Like,
It's the perfect crime.
monster.
It's the perfect crime. So he had allegedly stolen this kitten from a nearby pet store just minutes earlier. But I have a feeling, knowing the kittens that I've met throughout the years, that it was probably like, I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's go rob a bank, dude.
Yeah. They're mischievous little SOBs.
They really are, you know. Some would say a-holes.
Bunch of pussies, if you ask me.
Oh,
Sorry. Cats.
So police say the suspect entered a Pet Supplies Plus in Beltsville, grabbed a 3-month-old kitten named Magnolia from the adoption area, and then headed straight to a nearby bank. After arriving, he reportedly approached the bank manager, handed them the kitten, and asked, "Can you hold this?" He then wrote a demand note instructing the teller to hand over the cash. The robbery
Well,
didn't.
how could he? He was holding a kitten.
He's just like petting the kitten.
Yeah.
Like, I guess. The robbery didn't get very far. Officers quickly arrested the suspect, and investigators confirmed he was the same man who had stolen poor Magnolia from the pet store. But I say this was a match made in heaven. Thankfully, the kitten wasn't harmed during the bizarre ordeal and is back in the care of the rescue organization, where she's once again looking for a loving forever home and hopefully another owner who will involve her in horrific crime.
I'm just saying, she could have been rich. She could have been living large.
I guarantee she was down.
Full tuna steaks every day, fluffy pillows.
Just a cat holds a gun to your head. Just don't move a muffle.
It makes
Like,
you, it makes
Oh
you
my
wonder
God.
though, like why? Not that like why? Like, did he think like I'm serious? Did he think no one would shoot him if he held a cat? Did he think it would throw the bank teller off if he had a cat, or was it just like, crap? I need a cat and $50,000 today. Well, I'm not gonna go out twice.
I feel like you nailed you hit it on the head, because he was unshot And the
And
kitten is fine. So all is well.
well, he didn't get the money and he went to jail. So, and the cat, I
But
mean,
he is unshot.
that's true. But the cat's still looking for his forever home. I mean, I think the cat needs a home.
And
What-
now we
What did he give the pet store owner to get the cat? Like,
Oh,
so what
yikes.
did he hand to the pet store owner? Because he handed the cat at the bank.
Yeah.
What did he hand to the pet store owner?
So
what did he hand to the pet store owner?
So he walks up to the pet store owner and he's like, "Here's a Snickers I took from a gas station. I'm taking this cat." Then he goes to the bank. "Here's a cat. I'm taking your money." And then after the money, who knows? This could have been just a trail.
In my opinion, the person in question that we should be talking to is the pet store owner then. Sounds to me like they're the only one who really perpetrated a crime. He never got away with any money. He was just helping out a cat. The cat needed a home and, he was providing a life of crime, which is what cats really want. So at the end of the day, the only person who did wrong was the pet store owner.
What? I'm thinking about like the bank, like manager. Like if someone comes up and says, "Will you hold this?" No. Like I'm at work. This is a bank. Get the hell out of here. I'm not gonna hold your cat.
I've got this cat. No one would be like no to a
That's-
kitten.
Oh, it's a kitten.
I'm allergic, but F it.
Oh man. And I think if that, we're gonna just call it a day, guys. Yeah. Until next week. Thank you, everybody who listens and watches. We appreciate you.
guys.
You're the reason why we do this every week.
It's true.
Absolutely. Ryan, do you have a mission for these people?
Should you choose to accept it, is to share this podcast with a coworker, with a friend, discreetly.
With a lover.
Discreetly.
And tell them to subscribe to the YouTube, download if you're doing the audio version, and like always, from everyone here at Earthling Entertainment, see ya.
And goodbye.